Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of this Sovel playthrough. Now then, let's begin real quick. We're going to go from the bottom and then we're going to make our way down through the bottom until the boss fight of Act 2. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers by the end of this year. Let's see where this cannon can fire. Can't fire on anything right now, so I'm just going to hold off on that. I'm going to pretend to move these guys to see what the enemies do. I can't shoot the vacuum monstrosity with this guy, can I? No, I can't. That's really unfortunate. I'm just going to have to shoot on these vacuum skulkers then. I'm going to avoid shooting the flamers because it's going to take a few turns to reach us, so I can avoid shooting them until later. Maybe even charge them in at some other point, but not right now, because right now we're busy shooting everything else that we can see and find, because that's more prominent as a problem. So shoot these skulkers as well. Try to get rid of them, as always. Skulkers are really annoying to deal with, 2 attacks, and yeah. So that unit of 5 is quite literally shooting out enough attacks at us that it's basically a unit of 10. And that's multi-attack units are always difficult to deal with. So move this guy slightly to the side and then move past the skulkers, and so then we're like this. There we go. So we should be out of range of everyone now. Nice. And, yep. So this I don't really care about the slingers. Slingers don't matter because slingers won't ever charge you in melee. It's just something that slingers do. They avoid all melee, so it's quite obvious to predict what their movements are going to be. Slingers always avoid melee, so that means that you could be standing right in front of them and they will not charge into you because they're waiting for you to come out of melee, and then they could charge you. So as always, slingers are on their own AI, and yeah, the slinger AI is rather interesting, to say the least. 2 wounds on our dragon. A bit unfortunate, could have been probably avoidable, but it's perfectly fine by me as long as the dragon is still there and it's not gone. Then that's perfectly fine. So charge into the side of there, and then charge into the, I was going to say side of that unit, but it's a frontal charge, so instead I'm going to charge into the front of the slingers, because that's acceptable in my opinion, to charge the slingers. They're quite weak in terms of stats. Yeah, 2 defense, 3 power, 3 skill. Going to be missing most of the hits, and unfortunately we do get flamed on our knights. Not too bad. In terms of knights being attacked, could have definitely hurt a lot more. Let's see if these flamers can save any of these. No, they can't, and there goes the entire unit of flamers. That's perfect. And yeah, let's pass a few more turns. Really, what I'm looking for here is to see where the enemies go. Okay, like that. So now I know where the skulkers are, so I can move like this to avoid the skulkers, but still have space to charge into the side of the vacuum conscript. And then, yep, rerolls on Lord Commander and against vacuum monstrosity. So it's something like this that I play. So yeah, that was very good moves, and yeah, I don't think it was quite bad. Everything was well thought out. So yep, there goes the monstrosity. That's perfect. And let's get rid of the slingers as well while we're here. Now again, difficulty zone, and yeah, that means they can come back, but as long as they're not facing this way, it should give me a few more turns where I can just finish my moves off, make a few charges from behind. I'll finish off these slingers, I guess, and then I should be able to move first, so then I can move my lord around, maybe get him away from the flamers. We'll have to see. Oh no, they go first. That's fine. It's the slingers, and okay, it didn't go my way, that's for sure. Maybe try to move this guy down slightly, but I don't really know how useful that'll be. While I'm here, I guess I should talk about something else rather than the battle, which is already concluded, and that's, I want to talk about the Brussels sprout family. So you know, like kale, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbages. And I just find the entire family to be rather crazy because they all came from a single plant. And yeah, and from that single plant's descendants is what we get all of our favourite food today. Vegetables, I guess, specifically, rather than just simple food. But yeah, it's quite cool how everything came from a single plant, and you don't just genetically bred certain attributes of that plant in order to get it. And yeah, it's the whole point about this is, I guess, that I want to go into a more in-depth talk about all this sort of stuff. No, can't kill that guy. So yeah, I want to go into more in-depth talks about plants and things like that. Specifically, I want to go into a talk about... Ooh, that's going to really hurt for my knights. Ooh, yeah. They have a lot of models, but that still wasn't pleasant, that's for sure. I'm going to have to... Now, good thing for me is that they're not going to really... They don't deal a lot of damage in melee, and they're not going to really... yeah, charge in, because they're both ranged, so you can choose their eye yeah, choose the air rather easily because they just won't attack you, no matter which side you're facing and which side they're looking at you. They could charge you from behind, but they will never do that because again of their AI. Yeah, shoot these skulkers. And I want to get into more in depth about plants, I guess, in this talk, and I want to talk about grafting, which is the process of adding one plant onto another. So it's quite commonly done with like apple trees where you have different varieties of apples, and let's say you want a certain variety of apple that's not found in your local area, or for some reason it's just you don't want to grow an entire apple tree. You can just graft a different apple tree's branch onto an already ready to produce apples apple tree, or an apple tree that already flowers, and you can get that type of apple that you like. It's also done on like limes and lemons interchangeably. I'm pretty sure you can do that. And yeah, it's also done for oranges and all these different tangerine and clementine varieties. It can also be done on them. And yeah, there we go. We finally got rerolls on this guy. It's very nice. A lot of times where it can be done. And yeah, apart from just the simple benefits of getting a different variety of plant on something else. Let's see what the enemies have. So the enemies have 2 chariots, Mongol skirmisher, and they got a bunch of Gutman warriors and a Mongol pack. So I'm going to pass some turns, obviously, to see where they go. And since they don't really have that much range, I'm not too afraid about them going first. If anything, I think it would be preferred if they went first. Then we can create countermeasures, I guess. I'm going to leave these guys here, see what the enemies do. Maybe move these guys around because I can probably reach their ranged. Maybe not. Maybe not. I guess I'll move these guys up so then they can kind of shoot into the Mongols pack. Maybe get a few damaging shots off. Yeah, there we go. Entire row. It's very nice. So yeah, I guess the whole point of this talk is that I wanted to specifically target the fact that it can also be used for the benefit of the plant. So you can, if you have a poor plant that doesn't do well in an area because of pests or diseases, you can graft different plant onto the branches of a plant that does do well in an area. So I guess that's where grafting comes in really useful. And yeah, I guess that's what I wanted really to talk about. Let's find the concept rather interesting. I'm not going to be able to shoot the chariots. Just shoot a random Goatman warrior. It'll do just as well. I might be able to charge a chariot in the side and they won't be able to do anything about it. Nope, they can't do anything about it. That's cool. I am going to be charging the side next turn, but that's something for me to worry about later on. These Goatman warriors will most likely go after my cannon, so that'll be a problem later on. I'm sure I can probably find a solution to that though, by simply charging them in the side, maybe just letting my cannon die. I'm not too fussy about what happens to the cannon. This guy's stuck on the side of this guy now. It'll do fine against him. Roughly same stats. So yeah, this Goatman warrior is quite literally stuck because of this Goatman warrior advancing. They got a few good rolls, double sixes right there. I'm going to use my ability to make sure this chariot is gone. Let's see what the enemies do. And they're shooting at me from range, which isn't too bad. Because again, they got terrible stats, not a lot of power, so even if there's hits, they're not going to go far. And they were most definitely not going to hit all too well. It most definitely is trying to go for a side charge on my lord. So a bit unfortunate, but I don't really mind. Means that I can just charge into the side of the archers next turn with my cavalry after they charge my lord. So yeah, they charge my lord, I move around, attack their archers. That's the strategy. I really need this knight to come back and turn around to attack these Goatman warriors. Yeah, there we go. Still getting full attacks off on them, but problem is that they got their chariot to fire off on us, well, charge into us. And as I've always talked about this, chariots attacking you get an additional 2 attacks, so that's a bit annoying to deal with. Other than that, it's perfectly fine. Yep, 2 more Goatman warriors gone. So yeah, slowly getting rid of them. Slowly, very slowly indeed. So yeah. Yep. Let's do this, and a few bad saves, especially against the skirmishers, but that's perfectly fine. Let's quickly get through this, and then, yep. Because there's nothing really too dangerous over here. Although if my light cavalry fell so many hits, it might become rather dangerous for me. Yep. I was really hoping for slightly better hits off on the enemies. Guess that's a bit difficult to get in this day and age. Yeah, it just turns around. That's fine, okay. Yeah, I was really hoping that because we have 1 more skill, so even though they've got higher defense, we'll be hitting more shots or more melee hits off. But I guess that's really not possible with the light cavalry. They're really letting me down over here. I had high hopes for them. So yep, these guys are out now. And let's finish off with these guys. Then yep, that's Archer's completely gone off the field. There we go. I want to talk about now Deadlock. So that's Valve's new game. After the journalist released an early review of Deadlock and its gameplay, Valve has kind of stopped keeping Deadlock as a bit of a secret. So they've started talking about Deadlock more openly. And there's been a lot of people live streaming Deadlock. It does look rather nice. It's very well polished. I don't really see any sort of problems with the in terms of lag or anything like that. Everything seems to be rather well on point, and yeah, it just doesn't look bad whatsoever. It looks very well polished and very well done, and I don't really have anything bad to say about Deadlock right now. I definitely am rather optimistic about Deadlock. Well, these Imperial Knights just quite literally flew over the other Imperial Knights. Very lucky. But yeah, looks very well polished, very well finished, and yeah, the gameplay doesn't look too terrible in terms of difficulty. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, you know, the biggest problem in this sort of genre is accessibility to the game, due to the inherent difficulty of understanding everything there. And the problem with Deadlock was that it was very similar to Dota 2 and a few other games like League of Legends, in the fact that it was a multi-lane, the 6-player game. Even though it's very similar to Overwatch, it's also very unique in the sense that it's more similar to Dota 2 and League of Legends, in a sense, than even Overwatch. So, and as I said, talked about in the previous series, playing as the human mage, the reason why I left those sort of games is because the learning curve was too difficult, and I was afraid that the Valve's new game was going to have a similar problem. Luckily, it's not the case, and it's not the case right now. Obviously, we'll have to see how future updates go and if they add complexity. I feel like adding seasonal changes would be better. So maybe a seasonal capture the flag or something like that, rather than just, full on, leaving the updates in the game. So then it becomes kind of like Dota 2, where you have random bosses spawning. So Dota 2 has this sort of problem where you get like random bosses spawning just whenever and wherever they like, and then you just kind of have to know when the boss spawns, and there's like 3 different bosses on the map. And then there's also the collectibles in the middle of the river that you have to collect, because they give you free gold, and you can't really miss out on free gold, because if your opponent gets it, they get a huge lead and stuff like that. And if that sort of stuff just continues to build on in a game like in Valve's new game Deadlock, then I do see sort of problems where new players can't come into the game, because as soon as they do, they are met with a bunch of difficult mechanics and no tutorial whatsoever. Because even though Dota 2 does have a tutorial, and it's better than League of Legends tutorial, unfortunately, Dota 2's tutorial isn't all that great, as shocking as it might sound. I did play the Dota 2 tutorial before I played multiplayer, and it didn't help, even in casual. It was a bit of a nightmare when you joined into an actual game of casual, and you realised that everything that you learnt was pretty much useless, apart from WASD. Well, no, you don't use WASD, but you click with a mouse button to get into the actual battle. Move in the actual battle. So you use the mouse buttons to move, and which buttons use your special abilities and stuff like that. And it's just unfortunate, but apart from the bare basics, nothing else actually helped you out in the game. It was quite an interesting experience, in my opinion, because, as I've said, other than the bare basics, which you could have learnt in seconds, the game didn't really have that much of accessibility in its tutorial. The tutorial really didn't teach all that much, and yeah, just found it very lacking. And then obviously League of Legends doesn't even have a tutorial, and if it does have a tutorial, I would like people to show me it, because the only thing that I saw in League of Legends was a game against bots, as well as a WASD tutorial, which was worse than Valve's, believe it or not, because Dota 2 somehow had a more complicated tutorial, which taught you how to use abilities and skills. Meanwhile, League of Legends tutorial didn't even really teach you all that much about the mechanics of movement, I guess. I don't think he even taught you that you can dodge enemy abilities or anything like that. It didn't tell you to try to weave in and out. It didn't don't really teach you what bushes do. Nobody has time to read, unlike Dota 2's tutorial, which actually showed you the mechanics in action. I prefer tutorials that actually don't tell you what to do. They instead show you, rather than tell you. In fact, they didn't really teach you all that much. Didn't really teach you the difference between mana, between physical damage. Didn't teach you anything else, which is something that the Dota 2 tutorial does teach you. Teaches you a bit on it. Teaches you about the defense, I guess, different types of defense, but it's still very lacking. And it doesn't really teach you to look at the scoreboard, see what your enemy has. That's the problem with the Dota 2 tutorial. Because it was complex, but it was still very simplistic. Let's skip through this really quickly. The enemy should really be routing. I really don't know why they're still here. They only have like 1 unit left, and sure, it might be full health, but like, come on. There we go. It's a bit ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing I can really do. I can't reach the ranged unit in time to help it out, so everything is up to it, and it, unfortunately got a lot of damage be dealt. Let's level up really quickly. Additional attacks never hurts. And then a bonus hit. Yep, just 1 bonus hit for ranged. Very nice. Then let's take some of the stuff. Let's go. And then we have a shop. Nice, let's see what we can buy. And we can buy another lord, we can buy a cannon. I feel like buying another Knight Commander would be quite nice for the hammer and anvil strategy. Yeah, let's go explosive shell, which will really help out. But yeah, these guys rerolling failed discipline is probably better, because they're well known for failing. Let's confirm this and let's see what's happening. Okay, right then. Enemies have a cannon. Attacks my cavalry. I'm not too happy about that. I guess we can counter hit it. But yeah. There we go. It's not enough. It's what, as I feared, to have my cavalry be ripped apart by that. I am going to unfortunately have to pull it back, maybe. Maybe I can just do something there this way. Move it up slightly, but I move up the other unit a lot further to hopefully get shot next turn instead of the important unit. I'm going to try to reach the crossbowmen next turn. Pretty sure they're dwarfs. No, they're humans. Yeah, they're humans. Okay, my bad. You can never be sure because sometimes it's kind of a mix between the, which unit is in which army. I've had brigands with like dwarf units and with human units. So you sometimes can get a variety of units in there, especially with brigands and things like that. Get a variety of units in a single army, which is quite good. Because, yeah, makes the game slightly harder if you're not always getting used to the same exact units in the exact same composition. Because, yeah, right now sometimes the armies are really predictable. For example, you can predict that the dwarves will have at least 3 different machine units. They'll have cannons and something else of the sort, and they'll be all together. So yeah, and there we go. That's what I was hoping for. Attacking the Knight Commander instead of attacking the cannon. Really nice. Let's try to move these guys up to attack the halberds. Make some space for this cannon to shoot the enemy cannon. And there we go. That should definitely destroy it. Very nice. I was kind of waiting there, holding my own breath. We're going to charge these guys in the side. Perfectly fine. Enemies are going to attack me with, I guess, my commander. That's quite fine by me. These guys, and then turn around to get a side charge. Yep, there we go. So that's a side charge right there. And then what else can I do? I can pretty much do this, and that's it. Let's quickly do this. And we got quite a few hits off, so that's very nice. Then what else can we do? And that's it. That was all the charges for that turn. Probably shouldn't have charged them in front. Probably doesn't really matter at this point. So yep, some more attacks going off. And that's a lot of attacks that went through. We got very lucky with that. Can't lie. Nothing to do. And then Furious charge, which should give a bit of a bonus to this unit as a whole because they get rerolls, which is really nice. Can't lie. Rerolls are always nice. There we go. The enemies lost an additional unit than us, so they had to reroll for morale. And yep. And these guys should be routing, but yep, there we go. They could have gotten really good rolls, but yeah, they didn't, so here we are. And then charging the side, charging the back, refrain from charging from the side. And these guys are continuing to walk around, all the way around. We got another 4, which is very lucky. I can't lie, getting 4s is very, very lucky indeed. Especially considering that the enemies can have like mist banners and other things like that, which buff up the units and prevent them from taking damage, and special abilities that give them additional armor as well, which only work afterwards, when comparing power. And there we go. We're gonna have to continue charging them down because they still have a bunch of units left. Although they should really be routing at this point. Like, I'm pretty much destroyed them. I still have an entire unit of Imperial Knights that hasn't really even been dented. Oh well, I'm pretty sure they took 1 wound. But other than that, it's perfectly fine. So yeah, what else have I got as a talking point? So yeah, Half-Life 3 also got leaked. I guess this is what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about leaked games. And I got carried away with Deadlock. So yeah, Half-Life 3 got leaked. And yeah, that's definitely quite surprising. I mean, there were always those rumours going around about the plot of Half-Life 3 getting leaked. So yeah, I'm going to continue this in the next episode. So yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye!